Hey buddy, watch this.
Hello, Regis Kilbin is the name and Hearthstone is the game, and this is my budget Journey to Unguro combo priest deck. First things first, this is a true budget deck, 1,000 or less arcane dust to build this bad boy. But of course, with that limitation, there are also some restrictions in how well you can play this deck. It's not going to take you to Legend. This is for people who are new or returning to the game, don't have a lot of cards to work with. They're starting out at rank 25, hoping to climb to somewhere around rank 15, maybe just a little bit higher if they really try hard and make some key card substitutions. Now, as far as this deck is concerned, this is not one of the strongest budget Journey to Ungro decks that I've made so far. So if you're looking to really press the ladder, you might want to go somewhere else. But if you're looking just to play Priest and have some crazy turns and a lot of fun, this deck is still good enough to win you games on the way to rank 15. It's just not going to be something that takes you a lot farther. So this one's a little bit more about fun and wild shenanigans than it is super success. But of course, you can still climb the ladder with this deck. That disclaimer issued. So let's go ahead and talk about the deck and what it's designed to do. As you can tell from the curve here, it's not a control deck in traditional sense. It's very low cost cards, but it does actually have a lot of ways to control what your opponents are doing and a lot of ways to draw cards too. So even though that curve is quite low, you can still pump out a lot of different things in a single turn, still refill your hand, and basically in some way or another control the board in the early to mid game, allowing you to plant some minions with high health totals, and then using those minions that you've stuck on the board, you can do things like the super combo in this deck, which is Divine Spirit to double a minion's health, and then Inner Fire to turn that health into attack, giving you really big threats on the board, or perhaps even a one-turn kill where you kill your opponent. And there are even cards in this deck like Stormwind Knight to enable that right off the bat. So for instance, you've got so much card draw in this deck that you can basically hold on to a Stormwind Knight, Divine Spirit it, it goes up to 20 health, and then you cast a single Inner Fire to make it a 20/20 charging minion that can kill your opponent from hand as long as you've chipped them down to 20 health, which typically isn't hard because you do have so many different low-cost minions in this deck. Now, I should note that this kind of priest, what people are calling combo priest or miracle priest, or even sometimes just control priest in the Unguro meta, does typically run this card, Shadow Visions. And this is a really important card for that high-end, top-tier deck because it allows you to discover extra copies of your combo pieces, Divine Spirit and Inner Fire, which really increase the consistency of those draws, making it much more likely you actually find them and are able to execute your combo. But of course, this is an epic card, which means it does cost 400 dust, and therefore doesn't fit into a budget deck. So our deck's a little bit hampered without Shadow Visions, but if you're really enjoying this style of play, you could clearly add this into your list and build a really cool deck. And there's some great deck lists out there that aren't that much different than this one at the end of the day that could really help you do that. Of course, Lyra is another card from Unguro that's really fitting with this style of deck that has a lot of low-cost cards. So this is another key upgrade that can make your deck really good, whereas now it's merely okay. It's merely a solid deck. But as far as the cards that complement those pieces, essentially the key Unguro card that makes all of this possible is really the Radiant Elemental, because this guy does reduce the cost of your spells by 1, so you can do cool things like Radiant Elemental and then buff it with Power Word Shield for free. It also just makes all of these other really low-cost spells like Potion of Madness early game tempo spells. It makes it easier to combo out with Wild Pyromancer to either clear the board or sometimes draw a ton of cards with Northshire Cleric and Circle of Healing. Pyros can also activate your Acolytes of Pain. You've got Cabal Talon Priest here to buff health, which of course works really well with your combo pieces. And then you've got some just higher health minions that do set up nicely on the board. Tar Creeper is just a little defensive tool, one of, but also has a decent health total. And then Tortillon Shellraiser, same thing, pretty solid health total for a 4-drop, not to mention it also buffs the health of other minions when it dies, so you can sometimes force your opponent to buff other cards as well. We've also got the Arcane Soul Priest here, another minion that has some health to work with, but more importantly, this just gives you some assets with Circle of Healing as a board clear, because of course Arcane with Circle of Healing does damage to minions instead of healing them, so that's a cool little tool to help you recover if you need to. Also, sometimes just your hero power becomes a very valuable asset if you're able to stick an Arcane Soul Priest on the board. Outside of that, we got some removal like Shadow Word Death, Shadow Word Pain, Potion of Madness serves often as removal, but sometimes this can actually be a combo setup piece as well. For instance, imagine if your opponent had a Turtle on Shellraiser, but you didn't have a minion on the board. You could Potion of Madness to instantly attack with that minion and buff it into the combo to do lots of crazy damage. So a nice little extra tool there. And there you have it. That's pretty much your list at the end of the day. It's kind of hard to envision how all this works looking at a list, I think. Even though you talk through all the cards, you kind of have to see it in action to really make a lot of sense of it. And even that said, sometimes you just run into games where you draw everything in the wrong order and you fall flat. Other games, you just hit the magic curve and you dominate your opponent. Often you fall somewhere in between and just play a normal game, as you might expect. But it is a tad inconsistent as far as the deck is concerned. So that's really one of the reasons it's not my highest recommended budget deck, but still, again, good enough. So normally I'd take this out onto the ranked ladder to show it off in action, but I am at rank 2 right now, and I don't want to sacrifice my progress to Legend this month. I actually do want to hit Legend this month, which I don't do every month, and this could hamper that, because as I mentioned, this deck is not designed to play really even beyond rank 15 or so. So not an ideal choice at rank 2. You know, it's possible we could win a game, but it's much more likely we'd play very refined decks and very strong players who would just dominate us. So casual mode is what it's going to have to be for now. But I think we'll still get some good testing environments in casual mode. And most importantly, even if we do play 5 terrible decks in a row, we'll still get to see our deck and talk through our plays and our mulligans and learn a lot about how to play this thing from our perspective. Not really worried about what our opponent is about. So this is a rogue, might be a quest rogue, which could be kind of scary, but we'll definitely need to get off to a fast start anyway. Even though this is one of your combo pieces, it's definitely not a card you want in your opening hand. You're looking for minions that you can play that do stuff. Northstar is good. Wild Pyromancer's okay. I'd prefer this to be a Radiant Elemental, for instance, but something we can still work with. Shadowward Pain's fine too. As far as what you keep in the mulligan, Radiant Elemental is pretty much always a keep. Northstar Cleric is probably always a keep. That's a good card to see, of course. Power Word Shield is a good card to have too, just because it works wonders with an early Radiant Elemental. Could do a lot with that little combo. Cabal Talon Priest is a keep if you have some other minions to play before it. It's really just you want those minions first, and then you want to find your spells and sort of utility cards later, right? You don't want a hand that's Potion of Madness, Divine Spirit, Shadow Word, Pain, or something, right? Like, that'd be pretty difficult to work with. So, the mulligan is very important in this deck to find success, I think. Power Word Shield would be the best possible draw at this point, but we can still play this out. There's a chance he kills the Radiant Elemental here, right? Backstab weapon, that kind of thing, since it only has 3 health. But if we're able to Divine Spirit it next turn, it might be worth it, honestly, just because this minion's so valuable to keep on the board. And at 6 health, it could be challenging for a rogue to deal with very efficiently. Okay, we actually use the weapon charge. I don't know necessarily that that signals anything, but it's very interesting. Oh, goodness. We could actually just go ahead and hit him for 6, but we don't know much about his deck so far, right? He hasn't played a card. It's not. If it was Quest Rogue, I think I would just make this play. I think I'd double it and hit for 6, right? Simply because Quest Rogue doesn't often have a lot of ways to deal with those things, and we wanted to apply a lot of pressure. But if it's Miracle Rogue, he might just be able to whack through it, and this could really hamper our progress. So I'm hesitant to do that. There is actually a future line where we draw a lot of cards. I think we'll just go ahead and develop the Wild Pyro here as a minion. It's a little bit risky if he does somehow manage to clear the board with, like, Backstab, Fan of Knives. I don't know. It'd be very difficult. Backstab, Fan of Knives trade, I guess, would clear the board, that kind of play. But if not, we're developing a lot of resources here and just some pressure, which is good. Our hand's just really clunky. We need card draw, but we can't draw cards until the Northstar is activated efficiently. So, you know, something like Circle of Healing could do a lot of work with this Wild Pyro on the board. Coin Sherazin? Nope, just Jade Shuriken. Wow, now that is not what I was expecting to see. This does give me a draw engine card, though, unless he kills my Northstar, which he does. It's sad. Double Jade Shuriken. Wow. It's not a bad turn, really. Oh, this is just a really unfortunate hand here. Double Inner Fire is absolutely useless together. Double Divine Spirit you can do stuff with. Double Inner Fire you absolutely cannot. So I think we have to just make a sort of inefficient play here. This is a sap target now, but again, I don't. This is like a Jade Rogue deck, so I don't really know what his list is going to look like. It's hard to guess. It's not exactly a prominent archetype at this point. He's already got his Jades rolling though, fairly quickly. That's a fairly good draw. I think we'll just go ahead and start hitting with this guy. We don't have a lot else to do at this point, right? We kind of have to find a win here because our hand is so garbage. We kind of have to turn the corner and just look to win. We don't have a card draw engine that we know of because our Northshire was killed. So we sort of just have to look for it. Just go for the win. And that's a kind of a mantra in budget decks in general. Sometimes you just have to find a win. You just have to win the game. And you have to play sometimes suboptimal plays just hoping to find a way to victory, right? So he still actually can't get through this based on what we see on board. Oh, he can. My math is bad, apparently. Oh, I forgot to calculate the Phantom Knives. Oh, that's what it was. Circle of Healing does virtually nothing. Can hit 6 to face again. This is a very awkward hand. Which is, like I mentioned, we have a lot of situational utility cards in this deck. So if you draw things in the wrong order, sometimes you just sort of sit there and flounder. If we suddenly get an Arcane or a Northshire, these cards become sort of good, but thus far, they're pretty much dead. Wow, this guy's going to get to hit so much. Divine Spirit here just almost wins me the game. Second Circle of Healing. I think it's actually impossible to have drawn any worse than these 3 cards exactly. I think these are the 3 worst draws in the deck. Pretty much anything else would have been great. Pretty much anything else. Power Word Shield would have been amazing. Not to mention, the cost reductions from Radiant Elemental are irrelevant. He still has yet to answer this. It's hit for 18 damage, though. So it's somehow possible he just cannot resolve this 6/6, and we somehow win the game. But it doesn't get worse than this, guys. Any other card in our deck would have been playable. Northshire would have been good. I would have loved to seen a Tortillon. Arcane would have been fantastic. So many good cards. That is too slow. We can win the game here with almost any card wins me the game here. Arcane wins the game. Power Word Shield wins the game. Like, so many things win the game. Shadow or Death does not win the game. So we can debuff this down to a 3/3. It means he has to use like this and this to kill my Radiant Elemental. All he has left is a 3/3 and a 1/1. I could Shadow or Death it, but that doesn't do anything, right? That just brings back another 5/5. So that would be bad, actually. It'd be an actively poor play. He's at 1 health. I mean, we do have ways to win the game, but it's he probably doesn't have any life gain. We just have to live long enough to actually make that a thing now. I don't see a reason to keep the Inner Fire here, because like even the pretty much any card we draw, we don't need it because he's at 1 health, right? Like, the damage is not going to matter. Potion of Madness would have won me the game. Like, I think 75% of the draws in the deck would have won me the game there. Divine Spirit would have won me the game because I could have buffed. Power Word Shield would have won me the game. Potion of Madness would have won me the game. There's like a million things that would have won me the game that turn. And unfortunately, I didn't draw a single one of them. So now we just have to live long enough to kill him, right? So we have so many draws that do it, but if he Cold Bloods that'll be good for us because we can kill it, buy ourselves some time. We'd be better off Cold Blooding that. Yeah, that makes the play a lot worse for us. So we need to survive. Oh, he cold-blooded this one. That's perfect for us. That actually buys me another turn, probably. Let's see if we can draw 5 in a row that are dead. This would have been good a while ago. It's not quite so good anymore. Something, but it's not exactly what we want. Really just Potion of Madness, Arcane now. A lot of good draws if we can live through this turn. This is a little bit of an awkward health total for him to deal with. We've drawn so dead. These Circle of Healings, which can sometimes be amazing, are just garbage right now. Unplayable garbage at this point. He has to kill this, obviously, because we could just go face. It doesn't really help him a lot. The math gets weird. Well, he could weapon, but that doesn't work, obviously. So now he's got weird math to deal with. He shouldn't play around Holy Nova, because Holy Nova kills him regardless. Unless he has Sap. Sap is not game, but it's awfully close. He does play a little bit around Potion of Madness there, but he also played the 2/3 Jade Spirit, so that's not relevant. That helps his math a lot, obviously. So we pretty much have to win this turn. Arcane, Potion of Madness. I don't think there's any other draws that win. Stormwind Knight wins. Cool. Finally got a draw we can play. Oh, that was not pretty. Was not pretty, but we scraped by, guys. We scraped by. We did it, boys. Games like that are a blast, I guess. As terrifying as they are. As terrifying as they are, those are always fun. Play to your outs. Some days you get rewarded. Now that might look like we got a really lucky top deck. Some people would say, oh my god, you got such a lucky top deck. You didn't deserve to win. But we think about the 5 bad top decks we had right before that, right? Every card was practically unplayable, right? Immediately prior to that, so we'll keep these 2. Want to look for good cards. Combo already. Again, it's a little too soon, right? We don't really want to see this right away. These are situational utility cards that get way better way later. He might throw down a Northshire. If we do, I think we'll just play our Northshire into it. It should be totally fine. If he wants to draw, we get to draw too. And I think we're better off drawing than him because we have lighter cost cards, right? Low cost cards that it benefits us to... We can actually interfire this and heal it. It goes back to 3/3. It trades into both of these, denies him the card draw, gives me a card draw. I actually think it's worth it, right? We have another interfire, so we'll have to use the coin too. We can't use Radiant Elemental though because it doesn't leave us enough mana to hero power, so we have to do it this way. This might look kind of iffy, but I actually like this play a lot. I think it's pretty good. Gets punished by Shadow Word Pain. Couple things punish it, but if it works, it's kind of like a game-winning style of play. It's a little risky because we did have the double Divine Spirit, right? And now we may not see another Interfire for like 45 minutes. But that's a weird play. Because now he just... Oh, well, I guess it does give him the draw. 1 draw, but he sacrifices 2 minions for it, so I think I'm totally okay with this. I could just Shadow Word Pain it, but I think there's probably more valuable targets. I'm just going to take the good trade here. I'm okay to give him 1 draw, since he sacrificed 2 minions for it. I think that's going to work out just fine. Good 4 drops here. This is a pretty solid hand to work with. If we find the Interfire, we're going to be in a good spot, I think. And I'm glad I saved that Shadow Word Pain. Oh my god. This is sick. Technically, I should have drawn first, I suppose, but that was the 99.9% best play possible, so felt okay. Oh my god, we hit it. This is already a 12-12 if we want it to be, but I think we try to hit the Stormwind Knight play here. That's a 9-mana play, though, so we might have to stick a guy first and just see what happens. For instance, we can just Tar Creeper Radiant Elemental here. Can maybe hit the Tar Creeper for 2020. I think I want to make sure it's lethal, though. Like, I don't want to do it too soon. I think we can chip him down a little bit first here. Power Word Shield would change that, though, I think. Cabal Talon Priest could certainly change that, too. Is this actually just lethal now? Let's see. This is 16. Yeah, this is just lethal. That's how it works. That's how you get the wins when it wins, guys. Like I said, sometimes when you high roll on the stack and you draw well, that's what happens. I think you can see it in action. When you can buff a minion's health that high, sometimes crazy stuff happens. We were a little bit lucky there, admittedly, to draw the Inner Fire. But that was a good hand regardless. And that's a good way to win games at rank 17 or 20 late in the season, right? And sometimes you just win them early and keep climbing, guys. Is this the same fella? No. So we finally see the Power Word Shield. I think it's the first one we've seen all day. We'll keep it for sure. It's just so good with so many different minions. Unfortunately, we didn't draw those minions, but it's okay. It's actually not even bad with Soul Priest. If you do like Soul Priest Circle to clear and then you need to buff its health a little bit to keep it out of a ping range, Power Word Shield can be good at that. Of course, we're playing a Priest. That's not a concern. So there were some important decisions made that game, right? Like, him Shadow Word Painting that 3/3 Northshire, by the way, was a huge asset, because then he couldn't Shadow Word Pain our Tar Creeper, which was what had most of our health, right? Like, that's where it really worked. If we had to buff our Northshire Cleric, we wouldn't have had enough health, right? It would have been, it would have went to 6, doubling that would have went to 12 and 24. I think we would have exactly 26 damage if we'd had to go that route. So we needed I think we needed a 4 health minion to win the game, basically. The Tar Creeper was 5. And the Radiant Elemental discount mattered a lot, right? Because it allowed us to do it a turn earlier. The whole combo only cost 2 mana instead of 5. It's a big reduction. Oh, this is bad. This is a card we cannot beat. Silence Priest is going to give us some problems. We need to win this game very quickly, I think. Okay. I'd love to go ahead and Divine Spirit that, but I just can't. Because if he Shadow or Pains it, I'm donezo. I can afford to use the Power Word Shields because they cycle into new cards, right? But I can't afford to use all the assets until I know it's going to hit. That looked like a Shadow Word Pain target to me. He's probably looking for a Silence or something here. Well, wouldn't have a ton of mana for Purify, so we could just play the Tortolon next turn. If we hit Inner Fire, it's still not enough, right? This would only go to 14. Be a 14-14. Again, it's too much of a risk because he could simply Shadow Word Death it, and we'd lose the game. It looks to me like he has Shadow Word Pain. If we do play the Tortolon, he might be convinced to Shadow Word Pain the Tortolon, which would be a mistake, but it's a good Silence. I don't know that I love Shadow Visions into Silence, though. It's one of those things where you kind of just didn't get a lot of return on your money. I can't start making trades into that thing right now. It's just, I kind of wish I could. I wish I could kill it, because Faceless Shambler's really good. There's all kinds of great options here to utilize this thing. He can double its health too, right? But we kind of have to play it a little bit slow, I think. There is a weird play where you can Inner Fire this and then Shadow Word Death it if we had either of those cards, but don't really want to do that right now. Anyway. Oh, that's a good line. That does give me Shadow Word Death as an out, though, which is nice. He can't attack because he already attacked, but I still think he has a Shadow Word Pain. It looks like this got targeted. Maybe he was targeting it with a silence. But then he Shadow Visioned for his own silence. So I don't... Maybe it was Potion of Madness he was targeting it with, but that wouldn't have done anything because we didn't have another minion on the board. So I'm having a little bit of trouble reading his line there. I kind of want to heal this just because of the health difference here, but that means I can't play the Tortillon. I think we'll just play the Tortillon here. It's bad to another Potion of Madness, but otherwise it might just make a trade. Or stick, at least, to the trade. I don't know, our hand is pretty wonky. These Shadow Word Pains are dead. We don't have an activator for the Divine Spirit, really, at this point. Arcane's good, because we can catch up a little bit with Arcane if we hit a Circle of Healing, maybe. We just need something to swing this board back in our favor, because if he gets the board with these giant dudes, we're never going to come back. Just absolutely never. This one minion has presented a nightmare of troubles for us. Shadow Word Death would put us back in the game, I suspect. If we'd drawn that, that would have been amazing. Could have Shadow Word Death healed. Would have been a super smooth turn. But instead, we don't have that. He's debating here. He doesn't have a good line, apparently. I think that's a fine play. He's probably sad to lose his silence a little bit. But I think that's a good play. I don't... It absolutely seems worth it to me. Alright, so we can actually 12-12 trade there. Shadow Word Pain. Could also just post a Potion of Madness to get a card and see what it ends up being. I think I like that better than Shadow Word Pain, because it denies him the card draw and gets me a card. Maybe we hit like a Shadow Word Death. If I 12-12 it, I mean, I clear his board, which is really nice, but I'm dead to Shadow Word Death. I don't think I can play around Shadow Word Death at this point, though, guys. I think I have to kind of go for it, right? If I do this, this is 3 mana play, and I can also Hero Power after the trade, so... I think I just have to try it. Again, I know Shadow Word Death just destroys my resources and leaves me with nothing, basically. But I don't think I can play around it. I think I have to go for it. If I just leave him the board and don't play to my outs, we're going to lose anyway. So let's just go for it. Hope he doesn't have it. This is the, I think, statistically going to give us the greatest likelihood to win the game.
Is someone injured?
Looks like he's drawing. It's a good sign, but it might also signal that he has the Shadow Word Death, so he's okay to heal this. Like, he doesn't care to heal it because it's going to die anyway. So that could be bad. I think he would have already done it. I think he would have snapped Death if it was Death after the heal. So I think this is just a minion. Another Razor Leaf or something. He can't play Razor Leaf into this, though. We'll just kill it and win the game. So he has to be careful. What could that be? Ancient Watcher is another thing. We can kind of just kill and win the game, I think. I think I can just Pain, trade, heal... Maybe even play the Arcane. Yeah, I think we just do it. The Arcane's a little risky because I can't continue to heal this guy with it out there, but I don't know. It's damage, right? We have 15, 17, 19 damage with the Arcane on board. And he didn't have an answer last turn. Some might wonder why you trade there, right? Because... it's, like, you lose a lot of face damage, but just minions on the board are such an asset for the priest in this deck with Shamblers and stuff. When they can copy the minion stats and everything, or double its stats, for instance, it just becomes such a valuable asset. It's something you don't want to leave alive. So this sucks a little. We can't really kill that, right? So we kind of just have to play around it, I think. And in fact, I don't even think I'm going to damage it. I think we're just on the stall plan. stall and win. It's going to go down to 7. He can heal it up to 9. So I could heal it down to 7, essentially. I'd have to use every minion I have. I just don't think it's worth it. I think I play to an out here and just go for damage. Maybe we can kill him before he stabilizes the board, right? We're going to draw at least 1 card off this, looks like. Unless he does actually hit the Push to Madness, which would suck. But we'll see. That's scary, but it's a little bit slow, right? He's not forcing me to react to that right now. He kind of has to sit there and let me hit him in the face again, it looks like. So, Inner Fire gives me some damage here. It's +4 damage. I'd love to be able to draw more cards than just 1. Oh, Storm of Night is also damage. How much damage is this, guys? 2, 4, 6, 9, 10, 12 damage. So that puts us 5 off. If we draw a card here, we'll lose 1, so it'd be 6 off, but we could gain like up to 4. Is it actually worth double drawing off this, though, with the hero power, or is the 2 damage to face more valuable? We know for sure that Arcanite is going to die next turn, so we're going to lose the option to do that damage. I think we've kind of turned the corner and we have to go for it, don't we? Northshire does basically nothing for me at this point, unfortunately. I gotta try. This is not pretty, honestly. He has 2 minions out. He can clear the Elemental and the Arcanite as far as we know. That leaves me with 5 damage right now if I play the Northshire. The question is, can he clear the board? I'm just going to go ahead and play it because I think the stats might matter. It could cost me a draw, but I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to activate the draw anyway, because I won't be able to do damage. Everything has more health, you know? Like, it'd be pretty hard to draw without sacrificing so much damage that it wasn't worth it. That looks like a Shambler to me, faceless. Oh, another Purify. Okay. That doesn't really help him too much. I mean, cards are scary, but it doesn't help resolve the board as we see it. So, like, Inner Fire is going to help me find a kill. Anything that helps me draw cards would be great. It's touch and go for sure. If he gets a taunt, I think we lose no matter what here. Shadowward Pain has just been useless this matchup. Like, he doesn't play anything with less than 4 health. Like, this card's so good against Priest. So good against Priest. And it's ran by Priest. So it's funny. They run their own worst enemy. That's pretty slow. That doesn't really... Oh, there's the Shambler, though. That's game, I think. I can't beat that. I don't know how to get through this minion. We just don't have a way to beat this card. Wild Pyro doesn't even help me right now. I can draw a card like this. We can Cabal Talon Priest something here. Let's see, he has 9, 12, plus 4, 16, so we're not dead. So if we can somehow stick a minion here. What minion would be best to stick? This would go to 8 health, he'd have to use 2 4-attack guys to kill it. This would go to 7 health, he'd be able to use a 4-attack and a 3-attack. Or no, 6 health, excuse me. Be able to use... Now, 6 health would actually be fairly awkward if you wanted to kill this. I kind of want to make this hard to kill too, though. Because card draw is so valuable. But I'm hoping maybe he leaves this. But I think if I just leave it at 3, the Cabal just kills it. I don't know. There's probably no right answer here, to tell you the truth. I guess we'll make him kill the lowest attack thing, right? This might be worth it, because 1 is not that different than 5. It might not be worth it, too. I don't know. Especially if you like Holy Novas, it wouldn't be worth it, but... There's a chance it's kind of gets left behind, and it gets to do the damage anyway. Inner Fire here is probably lethal. That's 13, 18, 21, 25. Yeah, Inner Fire would be lethal. I think he has it, though, or he would have done it by now. He just drew me an extra card. He does have it. That's lethal. Yeah. That's super lethal. Jeez. God, did he not have that last turn? Like, I feel like he would have been pretty close last turn. That's like the grown-up big brother of our deck, guys. That's like the big brother version. That's the full version. But we still almost had it. We put ourselves in a position to win. It's just, when there's that many stats on the board, we didn't, especially without the arcane circle combo, we just never found a way to deal with his stats, right? If we had been able to kill those last set of minions with like a circle combo, that was a winnable game. We could have found it out to win, because he would have ran out of resources. We would have too, but we would have had a better chance, I think, at winning. Wild Pyro can do a lot of work against Paladin tokens and stuff, so we'll keep it. Inner Fire is not the best, but Northshire's good on one. Love to see a Power Word Shield. Just coin Power Word Shield right off the bat. Northshire's good against that. It even survives against the Rock Pool buff, so I'm okay with this. We can Pyro coin Circle next turn if we want. Just for card draw. Maybe to kill some stuff, but probably would only kill not a lot. Oh, it'll kill a lot. It'll leave my minions kind of damaged, but I'll draw so many cards in the process. I could just Pyro coin as well and just leave these dudes damaged. I don't necessarily have to get the card draw this turn, right? That saves the circle. Because, I mean, the circle heals it back up, I draw 2 cards, but they do damage themselves again. So they go back to this health total. So why not save it? Maybe we can combo it with the Acolyte, right? If we play the Acolyte and then circle, we draw 2 cards here, then the Acolyte takes a ping damage, and we draw a 3rd card. So this could work a lot better. Plus could set up the trade with the Northshire, maybe. Although not really, because it'd die. The secret could be an issue. Can't Potion of Madness very efficiently because would kill my dudes. I think let's just do what we decided here and draw a lot of cards. Hopefully that's not like Repentance. I might just go ahead and trade the Acolyte in at this point. 2nd circle though. Jeez. Is it worth it, or do I want to save this for a clear? So many cards if I do this. It doesn't help me kill the Hydrologist, right? Like, they both heal to full again, but this is worth 4 cards if I do it. I'd have 3 plus 5. I'd have 9 cards in hand. I think I have to do it, right? I think I have to do it.
Hello.
It's just so many cards. Like, it gets me the combos so quickly. And I'll just go ahead and make this trade. Well, this might get, did I overdraw one? I did. I got more than I thought. Oh, because I healed the, oh, crap. I goofed. I goofed a little bit. We should have done the trade the other way around. They both would have died, so it's not that significant, but we left a Murloc. Oh, my God. That's not really a good play. Like, some people might think that's a great play because you, like, burn my cards. But we're unlikely to get to the bottom of the deck anyway. I don't care at all. We have enough for a combo, although he did just kill my combo a little bit. Like, I think it's kind of irrelevant. Man, Power Word Shield and stuff sure gets worse in this environment, doesn't it? I think we'll just play the big dude here. And we'll make this small trade just to line up the damage here. Forgot to calculate the Hydrologist for the extra card heal. Oh, that doesn't line up the trades nearly as well. Do I not have a Shadow Word Pain? Like, I've had Shadow Word Pains literally all day. And now that I need one, we don't get one. Are you serious? And everything's out of Potion of Madness range because of the stupid Murloc War Leader. If this could go to 5, I'd be better off. I could Divine Spirit it. Inner Fire it, Shadow or Death it. It's not worth though. I legit don't have a great play here. How is that possible with this many cards in hand? Arcane Circle would be great if we'd saved it, but we didn't. I guess I can Radiant Elemental heal Divine Spirit, Inner Fire. I have the mana for all that. And just to kill the War Leader. I'm going to draw some more cards again, but at this point, again, I'll note it doesn't really matter. Can actually Power Word Shield it first. For max buffage here. I actually should have snuck in a Potion of Madness here to protect my minions a little bit. Could have killed 2 of these. I didn't think we had time or mana. Forgot about it, basically. Oh my god. I have never been this punished for having this many cards in hand. First, the burns from the Cold Light, and then the Divine Spirit. Like, jeez. Oh my god. I think we could just, like, clear the board with Acolyte here very easily. Even if he's just going to go face. He might kill the Radiant, but... yeah, he's just going to go face. This is game. We can just... Wild Pyro... well, I actually don't have enough spells hardly in hand. I mean, we'll have to use the Inner Fire, I guess. Actually, if I can just grab... These both have to take 2 damage, though. It's all gonna... yeah, this doesn't matter. This is fine. Can heal this, specifically, and, we can buff the... it doesn't matter what we buff, really. We want this to live for sure, though. This is not really doing anything, but... whew! This is scary, guys. There's a lot of decisions going into this. We've burned through 24 cards, but clearly we have a monster board. I don't know what this deck runs, but doubt he has the answers for the 12-6 and the multiple small guys. Might have answers for, like, one or the other. I don't even know what we've burned, what we haven't burned. It was maybe possible for a lethal that turn, actually, but I don't think we could have got this back over 12 to make it matter. We can Shadow Word Pain that to get through, just trade, and go face. Yeah, we had lethal. Sweet! That was pretty cool, guys. So, on that note, I think I'm actually going to wrap it up with a budget combo priest, specifically because that game provided us a glimpse at sort of an alternate path to victory we hadn't seen thus far, which was just drawing an insane amount of cards, right? That's something we talked about when discussing the deck, but we hadn't seen it until that game. In fact, we drew too many cards, but that's kind of the old school priest, Wild Pyro, Circle, Norkshire shenanigans, to draw you like a bajillion cards and then just give you so many assets that your opponent simply can't deal with it. Plus, you saw Wild Pyromancer do some board clear stuff, which is really powerful. This card is so good. People underestimate just how good this card actually is. It's one of the best cards in Hearthstone. It just doesn't always have a good place to fit. But this deck, it certainly does. But regardless, I think you saw some wins. In fact, I think we only lost one game, and even that one was close against an opponent who was very much designed to beat us. So, pretty good set of results, and I hope you had some fun watching this, but also learned how this deck could perhaps fit your playstyle and meet your needs in Hearthstone, because I think it certainly can. So all of that said, if you have any thoughts, comments, questions on this deck, please do leave them in the comments below. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, game on.